Oliver Sharp claims his daughter refused to attend his 50th birthday party after her mother lied about him cheating. Naomi Harmon says she was hurt by their separation, but was only trying to protect her daughter.
Good day. I see I've got Oliver Sharp here as my plaintiff. I see you have a witness, Miss Veronica Sharp. That is y'all's daughter together?
Yes.
Okay. And here for my defendant, Naomi Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, excellent. Mr. Sharp, why are we in court today?
I'm here because for my 50th birthday party, I had decided to fly my daughter out from London, where she's been in boarding school, and she was excited to come, but my ex, Naomi, brainwashed her, and she basically told her that I cheated on her and kicked her out of the house. And so my daughter was so angry, she decided not to get on the plane and missed my birthday party. And so I'm trying to recover my expenses from the flight for $678.
Okay, so you indeed purchased said flight, and you're claiming that per this woman's interference, that was wasted money because your daughter was not able to make the flight. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
okay.
right, Your Honor.
Let me get a little more context. How long were you and the defendant a couple?
About 20 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is a very long, not married, but a very long-term relationship.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in which you have this beautiful young lady to show for it.
Yes.
This is your only child together?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And the young lady is in boarding school in London, you say?
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Let me hear from you a bit, defendant, because he's accusing you of being responsible for this plane ticket of $678. He's saying that you brainwashed, that's a big word,
Right.
your own daughter. Why would he say such a thing?
Your Honor, I merely called my daughter to give her a heads up because she didn't know that we were even separated, and she was going to be going to the party and he was going to be with another woman. So my daughter has had a troubled past, and she's doing wonderful now, and I didn't want this to trigger her into past behavior, so I really wanted to let her know what was going on before she arrived.
Okay. Now, Ms. Harmon, you do seem to be talking around some of the facts a little bit, past behavior. What are we talking about? Drug use? What are you talking about? Suicide ideation? What is the issue?
She was dating a boy older than her and hanging around with some undesirable characters, and she started doing poorly in school and wasn't doing her extracurricular activities, so we sent her to boarding school.
So that's what prompted the boarding school?
Yes, we wanted to get her away from the young man.
Okay, and how has she been doing in boarding school?
Excellent.
Okay, so this has been a great adjustment for her.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me speak to her directly. Miss Veronica, please approach, stand next to your father, please. Okay, Elijah, she's been sworn in?
She has been sworn in.
Okay, excellent. Veronica, how are you?
I'm good today. How are you, Your Honor?
Good. You look lovely. So I hear your mother saying that there was some trouble, maybe at some point in your adolescence. You were sent away out of that environment, and you've been in the UK for boarding school since, and this has been a great experience for you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now talk to me a bit about these two. I think I might trust you a little bit more than them. How were your parents when you left for the UK?
Your Honor, when I left, I might have been caught up in my own drama, but I didn't think that there was anything wrong between my parents. I've always known them to be great parents and to have a great relationship. I mean, they weren't the type to like hold hands at the dinner table, but I didn't think that they had any problems at all. I think in their eyes and in all of our eyes, I was the issue. So when my mom called me, it was a grave shock to me. And
what did she tell you when she called you, Veronica? Did she say that there had been infidelity on your father's part?
I was packing my bag to leave to come to Auburn, and my mom had called me and told me that my dad had cheated on her and that he kicked her out of the house.
Wow. Let me hear from you on that, Ms. Harmon. Did you tell your daughter that?
I told her that he was seeing somebody else and that he had asked me to leave, and that's the truth.
And that is true.
That is the truth. It was a mistake what happened with me, and it happened once.
What do you mean what happened with you was a mistake?
I cheated on him because we didn't have intimacy for months, almost a year. And I own a restaurant, and I was doing a wine tasting with the chef, and one thing led to another. It was a horrible mistake, but I have done everything. I have evidence that I have done everything to try to keep our family together.
Okay.
But he's met somebody else.
Stop. Okay, because this is a whole lot of new facts.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
Did you want her to keep your secret girlfriend because you were not at a place to tell your daughter about the relationship?
No. It wasn't about my girlfriend. It was about the fact that we had split up.
This is back with the case of Oliver Sharp, who blames his former partner, Naomi Harmon, for manipulating their daughter.
Y'all were together for 20 years.
Yes.
You produced this lovely young lady.
Yes.
You send her away to boarding school. During this time, is this when you find this chef that you cheat with?
Yes, just
Jason.
once.
Jason. Okay, so he knows his name. Okay. So you meet Jason. One thing leads to another, as is often the case. You tell your husband about it, or you tell your partner?
Jason kept texting me wanting to rekindle what happened between us, and I had put an end to it, and he found those text
So
messages.
you did not admit it. You were caught.
I was caught.
Let me see some evidence. You mentioned that we can corroborate some of this. Give that to my bailiff, ma'am.
I'll actually just take all
Yeah, just give the folder. Thank you, ma'am.
It's evidence that I wanted us to stay together.
I know what you're saying it's evidence of. I'll be the judge of that. Let me see. I'm sorry about cheating on you. It was only one time. It didn't mean anything. Even though I moved out, I hope you can forgive me. Let's try to rekindle our relationship. I miss you and I want to work on us. Plaintiff says, I still have love for you. Uh-oh. Because when they say I love for you, but now I love you, you just read between those lines. Okay, but I can't trust you right now. Fair. After what you did to me, maybe in the future, but for now, let's take it day by day. I think you moving out will be good for us. Okay, so ma'am, I'm already seeing a discrepancy here. I do see you initiating reconciliation, but I also see that you moved out. You weren't kicked out.
No, Your Honor, he did ask me to leave. Well, I didn't want to move out.
It says, even though I moved out.
I did move out, but he had
Okay,
asked me
clear
to
it
move
up
out.
for me, Mr. Sharp. Was this woman kicked out of the home you shared for 20 years, or did she voluntarily leave?
The way I found out about Jason was we were in bed and
You and this woman, not you and Jason.
Yes,
you
Your
and this
Honor.
woman. Okay, I gotta keep the party straight. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Go ahead. Yeah,
yes, and her phone kept vibrating. We were asleep, and it woke me up, and I went to turn her phone off, and I saw the text. That's how
What did the text say?
I don't even think I can
Say in the
repeat
courtroom?
some of the words in here.
Was it words or was it photos?
It was words.
Okay.
Thank God. I don't think I.
Can take it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
it
you're
was.
seeing.
It was just enough for me to know that
That
there
it
was
was-
something physical going on.
Okay, and you confront her. What happens then?
Yeah, I woke her up.
In the middle of the night.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And-
I was very upset.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Because are you telling the court that although not married, you two were in a monogamous, exclusive relationship for the better part of 20 years?
Yes,
And
that's
this is
right.
the first time anything like this ever happened?
Yes,
So you
and-
were devastated.
Yes, ma'am.
You confront her, and she says to you, I'll get your side, but what does she say to you?
She had been asleep, so she was confused.
Yes, discombobulated.
And then she felt cornered, I guess.
Okay, so she admitted it.
There was no way she couldn't admit it, I don't think, at that point. But I was so angry, I just told her she had to leave the house.
Okay, so you did tell her it's time for her to go.
Yes.
You were asked to leave, and you did leave.
Right.
But then you're saying that you want to work on us, and you're saying at that point he met somebody.
Right. When I had been wanting to be intimate for a long time, and he wasn't intimate with me, and then the indiscretion happened. But I was really giving my all to this relationship, and a need wasn't met, and then I had it met, and I still want this relationship after all this. But he's the one that is starting a whole other relationship without giving our relationship, our family a chance.
We had been separated for months before I started seeing
Mr. Sharp, right here for the court. Okay,
sorry.
so, no, because I want to get the timeline right. So she's saying she had a itch that needed to be scratched. She got it scratched by Jason. And apparently, according to her, she's good at that point, and now she wants to put everything back into this relationship with you and save her family. But you're saying, at what point, sir, did you meet a new woman?
It was about 3 months later.
Okay.
And
And you two had not been intimate at that time?
No, during that time we had not been.
Because you weren't interested, because you didn't trust her, and...
I was so angry still.
Okay, so you're minding your business, and where does this new woman come into play?
I'm a general contractor.
Okay.
And she was
Right.
one of my clients.
Okay, so, oh, Lord. Yeah, you handy man. Okay, so you start getting involved romantically with your client, and it's serious?
Semi-serious.
Well, it was serious enough for her to be at your 50th birthday party.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still seeing this woman, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have a girlfriend.
Yes, ma'am.
How does that make you feel?
Heartbroken. I'm crestfallen and devastated.
Now, how would it make you feel to say that you set the whole thing in motion?
I would like to say that he did by not being intimate with me.
I bet you would say that. Okay, so let me go back to you, sir. So you now are in a whole relationship. I'm assuming you feel entitled to your new relationship because of the infidelity on her part?
I would not have been looking at other women.
But for her actions. Got it.
Exactly.
So let's get this young lady, because this is the innocent party, right? You both agree. She did nothing wrong. She did nothing to deserve this
Absolutely
level
not.
of
Absolutely.
chaos in her family when she comes back from across the pond to celebrate dad, and it's all a mess.
This was not the way she was supposed to find out about
Well,
it.
I was going to say, so at what point, sir, did you plan on telling your daughter, by the way, your parentals of 20 plus years have gone bye-bye?
Naomi and I had talked about that.
Okay.
You know, we were still in contact with
Yeah.
each other, even though we weren't.
Well, because you're still co-parenting.
Right.
Okay, good.
Let's not tell Veronica yet, because I
Also,
was
you wanted her to keep your secret.
I was concerned.
No,
yes.
no, no. Did
Well,
you want her to keep your secret?
I didn't. I felt like it would
Sir.
interrupt.
Okay, now we have been doing so well. Did you want her to keep your secret girlfriend because you were not at a place to tell your daughter about the relationship?
No, no, no. It wasn't about my girlfriend. It was about the fact that we had split up.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
This is a lovely young lady. She's a semi-grown woman. You think your daughter is not going to know daddy's got feelings for someone else?
This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with the case of Oliver Sharp, who blames his former partner, Naomi Harmon, for manipulating their daughter.
If she's not telling that y'all split up, then how are you explaining this new woman that your daughter's clearly going to see with you at your birthday party?
So there was going to be a lot of people at the birthday party.
Oh, so girlfriend was supposed to blend in? No, I mean, I just want to make this make sense, sir.
It wasn't. We weren't that serious at the time of the birthday party. I mean, we were.
I
kind of,
sure wish this girlfriend was here.
Your Honor.
Don't you? You know, because I feel. Hold on, man. Because I really feel like what you're telling me, sir. I wanna ride with you on it, but it's starting to get a little murky. Come on, sir. This young lady is very intelligent. Look at your daughter.
Your Honor, that's what I was going to say.
Ma'am, I don't need help from you. This is a lovely young lady. She's a semi-grown woman. You think your daughter is not going to know daddy's got feelings for someone else?
I think that was a mistake on my part.
Yeah, Veronica, come on, right? You would have had an inclination. Now, ultimately, your mother tells you that daddy was the culprit, even though you now know better, correct? You know that it was your mother who set this whole thing in motion. So how do you feel today?
This is the first time I'm seeing my mom since the whole
So
thing.
you have not spoken to her?
No, I'm still at school in London, so I came here for this, and it's really hard to see her, Your Honor.
You're upset with mom?
I'm deeply upset with Mom.
Why are you upset with mom? Tell your mom.
I'm upset with her because she completely lied to me about everything that went down. She acted purely on emotion. I mean, this is all moments that we will never get back, and you ruined that for all of us.
If could do over again, would you have liked to have been there to celebrate your dad's 50th party?
It's difficult, Your Honor.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
If dad had said, we're not together, but we both love you, I want you to celebrate and be here with me, would you have gotten on that plane?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with the case of Oliver Sharp, who blames his former partner, Naomi Harmon, for manipulating their daughter.
If your father had come clean and said, you know what, mom and I have had a parting of ways. Let's say you guys wanted to spare her the ickiness of y'all's mess, but we both still love you. You did nothing wrong. This is our issue, not your issue. And I want to reiterate that to you, young lady. You said something earlier to the court that has bothered me, and that is that they made you feel like the issue between them was you. I want to be very clear with you, Veronica. That is not yours to carry. So now, if dad had said, we're not together, but we both love you, I want you to celebrate and be here with me, would you have gotten on that plane?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, young lady. You can have a seat. Thank you for your testimony. What do you have to say about that? But for your interference and, frankly, manipulative framing of what was just a mess between you two, if I want to step out of the blame of it all for a second and just say, y'all didn't work, why not just say that? Why put it all on him and make her miss her father's 50th?
I reacted from my heart. I was heartbroken, and I just did not want my daughter to walk into that, because he wasn't going to tell her.
Yeah.
And I was scared for her to be triggered and go back to old.
Can I interrupt?
No, you can't. Let me tell you something, Ms. Harmon. You can run that game on your daughter. You can run that game on your ex here. You can't run that game on this court. You weren't speaking from the heart. You were speaking from selfishness. You were selfish when you slept with Jason. You were selfish when you did that. And then you were selfish again, young lady, when you told this innocent girl, your daughter, that this whole thing is daddy's fault. You took no ownership. You took no accountability, ma'am. But the two of you together created a broken home for your daughter.
Judge Eboni's verdict when equal justice returns. This is Equal Justice.
Y'all have created a mess, not because you're not together. People break up every day. There's a way in which you end a relationship, right? There's a way of integrity. There's a way to say, listen, honey, we had 20 years of greatness. We created this spectacular young lady, and she is thriving. And you should both be very proud of her, and I know that you are. But also, me and your daddy, it ain't hitting the way it used to hit anymore, quite literally. And so therefore, we're gonna go our separate ways, but your family is still one of love. Dad might have a new friend, mom might have a new friend, but you come first. That's how you end a relationship with integrity and maintain a family intact. Y'all chose not to do that. For that reason and that reason alone, and because this young lady told the court that but for your actions, she would have gotten on that plane and celebrated her father's monumental 50th. You only turn 50 once. I think I'm going to hold you accountable. The court rules in favor of the plaintiff for the full amount of $678. That's my ruling.
Judge Eboni has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $678.
The mahogany nameplate sat prominently upon the bench, its gold lettering catching the soft light of the courtroom. It read Judge Eboni K. Williams. To those who entered this room, those words represented more than just a name. They represented a philosophy of law that was as much about the heart as it was about the statutes. Judge Williams looked out at the gallery with a gaze that was both sharp and deeply empathetic. She often told those who stood before her that the only thing that mattered in this particular courtroom was how she saw it. Her perspective was a unique tapestry woven from many threads. She was from North Carolina by way of Louisiana, carrying with her the soulful warmth of the South, but she also possessed a distinct West Coast cool and a sharp New York edge that allowed her to see through any facade. She looked at the woman standing before her and asked with a firm but not unkind tone if they had a problem. The woman quickly shook her head and replied that no, she did not have a problem, Your Honor. For Judge Williams, equal justice was not a cold or clinical concept. It was all about the most important values of the country. It was about freedom and integrity. These were the pillars she strove for every single day she donned her robe. She believed in the sanctity of the individual and the responsibility of the adult. She once told a litigant that while a woman may run her own household, a man gets to run his. This respect for boundaries was a cornerstone of her practice. Her journey to this bench had been driven by a singular purpose. She had decided to become an attorney and pursue the law because she wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. She knew that there were times when the court could not hold a person accountable for every emotional slight, but she also knew that the law was a tool for clarity. Her courtroom was a microcosm of the world, welcoming people from all sectors of life, whether they were black, white, purple, gay, straight, or queer. That diversity was the very essence of what equal justice with Judge Eboni K. Williams was all about. On this particular day, the air in the courtroom felt heavy with the weight of 20 years of history. The case before her involved Oliver Sharp, a man who claimed his daughter had refused to attend his 50th birthday party after her mother lied about him cheating. On the other side stood Naomi Harmon, who claimed she was simply hurt by their separation and was only trying to protect her daughter from a potential emotional trigger. Judge Williams began the proceedings with a polite greeting. She noted that Oliver Sharp was present as the plaintiff and that he had brought a witness, a young woman named Veronica Sharp. She looked at the young lady and then at the parents, asking if this was their daughter together. Both confirmed that she was. Then she turned her attention to the defendant, Naomi Harmon, who stood ready to tell her side of the story. The judge turned to Mr. Sharp and asked him why they were in court today. Oliver Sharp took a deep breath, his voice steady but tinged with a father's disappointment. He explained that for his 50th birthday party, he had decided to fly his daughter out from London, where she had been attending a prestigious boarding school. He spoke of how excited she had been to come home and celebrate this milestone with him. However, he alleged that his ex, Naomi, had brainwashed the girl. He claimed that Naomi had told Veronica that he had cheated on her and kicked her out of the house. This information had ignited a fire of anger in his daughter, leading her to refuse to get on the plane. Consequently, she missed the birthday party entirely. Oliver was now seeking to recover the expenses from the flight, which amounted to $678. Judge Williams clarified the claim, asking if he had indeed purchased the flight and if he was asserting that Naomi's interference had caused that money to be wasted. Oliver confirmed that this was exactly the case. Seeking more context, the judge asked how long the two had been a couple. When Oliver replied that they had been together for about 20 years, a murmur of recognition for the depth of that history passed through the room. It was a very long relationship, even if they had never officially married. Veronica was their only child together, a beautiful young lady who is currently studying in the United Kingdom. Judge Williams then turned to the defendant. She noted that being accused of brainwashing one's own daughter was a serious charge. She asked Naomi why Mr. Sharp would say such a thing. Naomi Harmon looked at the judge and explained that she had merely called her daughter to give her a heads up. She argued that Veronica did not even know they were separated at the time. Naomi claimed that Veronica was going to attend the party and discover that her father was there with another woman. She expressed concern because Veronica had experienced a troubled past, though she was doing wonderful now. Naomi insisted she did not want this news to trigger her daughter back into past behaviors. Judge Williams, ever the seeker of precise truth, felt that Naomi was talking around the facts. She asked for clarification on what these past behaviors entailed. Naomi explained that Veronica had previously been dating a boy much older than her and hanging around with some undesirable characters. This had led to a decline in her school performance and her extracurricular activities. The decision to send her to boarding school in London had been an effort to remove her from that environment. Since the move, Veronica had made an excellent adjustment and was thriving. Hearing this, Judge Williams asked Veronica to approach and stand next to her father. The young woman had been sworn in and stood ready to testify. The judge greeted her warmly, commenting on how lovely she looked and acknowledging the success of her time in the United Kingdom. Judge Williams then asked Veronica for her perspective on her parents. She admitted that she might trust the daughter's account more than the parents' conflicting stories. Veronica explained that when she left for the United Kingdom, she was caught up in her own teenage drama and had no idea there was anything wrong between her parents. She had always known them to be great parents with a solid relationship. They were not the type to hold hands at the dinner table, but she never suspected any problems. In her eyes, she was the only issue in the family. Therefore, when her mother called her, it was a grave shock. Veronica recounted that she was packing her bags to come home when her mother told her that her father had cheated and kicked her out of the house. Judge Williams turned back to Naomi and asked if she had truly told her daughter that. Naomi admitted she told Veronica that Oliver was seeing someone else and had asked her to leave, claiming that this was the truth. However, as the layers of the story began to peel away, a different reality emerged. Naomi confessed that she had been the one to commit an act of infidelity. She described it as a horrible mistake that happened only once. She explained that she owned a restaurant and, during a wine tasting with the chef, one thing had led to another. She claimed the lapse occurred because she and Oliver had lacked intimacy for many months, nearly a year. Despite the mistake, Naomi insisted she had done everything in her power to keep the family together, but she felt Oliver had already moved on to someone else. Judge Williams called for a pause as these new facts changed the entire complexion of the case. She wanted to understand the timeline. After the break, the court delved deeper. Naomi's affair was with a man named Jason. Oliver had discovered the truth not through a confession, but by accident. He recounted a night when they were in bed and Naomi's phone kept vibrating. When he went to turn it off, he saw text messages from Jason. While the words were not photos, they were enough to confirm a physical betrayal. Devastated by the breach of trust in their 20-year monogamous relationship, Oliver had confronted her in the middle of the night. In his anger, he told her she had to leave the house. Naomi argued that while she had moved out, she did so because he asked her to. She also pointed out that Oliver started seeing a new woman about 3 months after their separation. Oliver, a general contractor, had met his new partner because she was one of his clients. He admitted the relationship was serious enough for her to be invited to his 50th birthday party. Naomi expressed that she was heartbroken and devastated by this. Judge Williams pointed out the irony, asking Naomi how it felt to know she had set this entire chain of events in motion with her own infidelity. The judge then focused on the impact this chaos had on Veronica. Both parents agreed that she was an innocent party who deserved none of this. Oliver admitted that he and Naomi had agreed not to tell Veronica about the split yet to avoid interrupting her progress at school. However, Judge Williams questioned the wisdom of this plan, especially with a new girlfriend set to attend the birthday party. She asked Oliver if he really thought his intelligent, semi-grown daughter would not notice his feelings for someone else. Oliver conceded that it might have been a mistake on his part. Veronica, speaking for the first time since the details of the affair were revealed, shared her deep upset. She felt her mother had lied to her and acted purely on emotion, ruining a monumental moment that they could never get back. Judge Williams asked a crucial question. If Oliver had been honest and told Veronica that they had parted ways, but still loved her, would she have gotten on that plane to celebrate his 50th birthday? Veronica answered with a firm yes. Judge Williams took a moment to address Veronica directly. She wanted to ensure the young woman knew that the issues between her parents were not her fault. She told Veronica that she did not have to carry that burden. Turning back to the parents, the judge delivered her final thoughts. She criticized the halls of justice were quiet and cool, a stark contrast to the humid afternoon air that clung to the world outside. Within the courtroom of the Honorable Judge Eboni K. Williams, the atmosphere was one of profound weight and focused clarity. The wood of the benches was polished to a high shine, reflecting the flickering lights from the ceiling. Behind the high bench sat the woman who held the scales of balance in her hands. The nameplate before her was clear and bold, bearing the name Honorable Judge Eboni K. Williams. She was a woman who carried the wisdom of many places within her spirit. She was from North Carolina by way of Louisiana, possessing a certain West Coast cool and a sharp New York edge that made her presence undeniable. She looked out at the people gathered before her, knowing that in this particular courtroom, the only thing that mattered was how she saw the truth. The Honorable Judge Williams spoke with a voice that was both firm and warm. She believed that equal justice was about the most important values of the country. It was about freedom and integrity. These were the things she strived for every single day she put on her black robe. She understood that while a person might run their own household, once they stepped into her courtroom, they were subject to the law that sought to give a voice to the voiceless. The people who came before her were from all sectors of life. They were black and white, they were purple and gay, they were straight and queer. To her, every soul deserved the same measure of respect and the same demand for honesty. On this day, two individuals stood before her, their lives intertwined by 20 years of history and a single child who was now caught in the middle of their storm. The plaintiff was a man named Oliver Sharp. He was a general contractor, a man who built foundations for a living, yet he found the foundation of his own family crumbling. Beside him stood a young lady of great grace and intelligence, his daughter Veronica Sharp. Across the aisle was the defendant, Naomi Harmon. She had been Oliver's partner for 2 decades, a woman who owned a restaurant and had shared a lifetime of dreams with the man she now faced in legal combat. The Honorable Judge Williams opened the proceedings by acknowledging the parties. She noted that Oliver Sharp was the plaintiff and Naomi Harmon was the defendant. She looked at Veronica and confirmed that she was indeed the daughter they shared. The judge's eyes softened for a moment as she looked at the young woman who had been flown in from her boarding school in London, the United Kingdom, to stand as a witness to the wreckage of her parents' relationship. Oliver Sharp began his testimony. He explained that the reason they were in court was centered on his 50th birthday party. It was a milestone he had been looking forward to for a long time. To celebrate, he had decided to fly his daughter out from her school in London. He had purchased a plane ticket for the price of $678. He told the court that Veronica had been excited to come home and celebrate with him. However, he accused Naomi of brainwashing their daughter. He claimed that Naomi had lied to Veronica, telling her that Oliver had cheated and kicked Naomi out of their home. Because of these words, Veronica had been filled with anger. She had refused to board the plane and had missed the entire celebration. Oliver was now seeking to recover the $678 he had spent on the wasted flight. The Honorable Judge Williams listened carefully. She asked for more context, seeking to understand the depth of the bond that had existed before this fracture. Oliver confirmed that they had been a couple for 20 years. They had never married, but it was a long-term relationship that had produced one beautiful daughter. Veronica was currently attending a prestigious boarding school in the United Kingdom, a choice they had made together to give her the best possible future. When it was Naomi's turn to speak, she defended her actions. She said that she had merely called her daughter to give her a heads up. She claimed that Veronica did not even know they had separated. Naomi argued that Oliver was planning to attend the party with another woman, and she wanted to protect her daughter from the shock. She mentioned that Veronica had a troubled past and was finally doing wonderful work in school. Naomi claimed she did not want this news to trigger Veronica into her past negative behaviors. The Honorable Judge Williams was not easily swayed by vague explanations. She asked for clarification on what these past behaviors were. Naomi explained that in her earlier years, Veronica had been dating a boy who was much older than her and was hanging around with undesirable characters. Her grades had suffered, and she had stopped participating in her extracurricular activities. This was the reason they had sent her to the boarding school in London, to get her away from that environment. Since then, Veronica had been doing excellent work. The judge then called Veronica to approach the bench. The young lady stood next to her father, having already been sworn in to tell the truth. The Honorable Judge Williams spoke to her with kindness, asking how she was doing and how she liked her school in the United Kingdom. Veronica replied that she was doing well and that the experience had been great for her. The judge then asked Veronica for her perspective on her parents. Veronica admitted that when she left for the United Kingdom, she had been caught up in her own drama, but she never suspected anything was wrong between her mother and father. She had always known them to be great parents with a solid relationship. They were not the type to hold hands at the dinner table, but she believed they were happy. In her eyes, she had been the only issue the family faced. Veronica described the moment everything changed. She was packing her bags in London, getting ready to return home for her father's 50th birthday, when her mother called. Naomi told her that Oliver had cheated on her and had kicked her out of the house. This news was a grave shock to Veronica. It changed how she saw her father in an instant. The Honorable Judge Williams turned back to Naomi, asking if she had indeed said those things. Naomi admitted that she told Veronica that Oliver was seeing someone else and had asked her to leave. She claimed this was the truth. However, as the judge probed deeper, the layers of deception began to peel away. Oliver interrupted, stating that there was more to the story. The truth was far more complicated than a simple story of a father moving on. Naomi eventually confessed that the initial breakdown of the relationship was her fault. She admitted that she had cheated on Oliver first. She owned a restaurant and had been conducting a wine tasting with her chef, a man named Jason. She claimed that she and Oliver had not been intimate for many months, almost a year, and in a moment of weakness, one thing led to another. It was a mistake she claimed she regretted deeply. She even provided evidence to the court, a folder of text messages and letters where she had begged Oliver for forgiveness and asked to work on their relationship. The Honorable Judge Williams reviewed the evidence. She saw the messages where Naomi initiated reconciliation, but also saw a glaring discrepancy. Naomi had written that she had moved out, yet she told her daughter she had been kicked out. Oliver explained that he had discovered the affair when Naomi's phone vibrated in the middle of the night while they were in bed. He saw text messages from Jason that left no doubt about what had occurred. He was devastated. He had been in a monogamous, exclusive relationship for 20 years, and this betrayal was a wound that would not heal. In his anger and pain, he had told Naomi that she had to leave the house. After the separation, Oliver remained single for 3 months before he began seeing one of his clients from his contracting business. This was the woman who was intended to be at his 50th birthday party. Naomi, feeling heartbroken and replaced, had used this new relationship to frame Oliver as the villain in the eyes of their daughter. The Honorable Judge Williams looked at the family and saw the mess they had created. She spoke to the parents about the importance of integrity. She told them that people break up every day, but there is a way to end a relationship with honor.